Hello, fellow warriors against consensus reality, slayers of gobshites everywhere, and revealers of all falseness around you. Yeah, I thought, why not? Time for another video. It's kind of quite amusing actually. The YouTube algorithm seems to have gotten a hold of all of my channels now. Even my little Star Wars channel and my down to 4 subs from 6 guitar channel. They love me on YouTube, right? So I'm just going to keep doing my little thing here and not even think twice about it, because wherever I go they've got a hold of my IP, so no matter which channel I go to I'm screwed. So whatever. And I'm certainly not going to go to the weird and wacky world of BitChute, where you've got Jew hating, Jesus fucking Abrahamic gobshites everywhere. No, thank you. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't give a fuck what your Bible says. Okay? Especially when I go onto one of my beloved channels and it's filled with gobshite, idiotic, brain dead American politic lovers and Abrahamic gobshites. What a fucking great combination. What is it with you Americans and religion? I don't fucking understand. And cultural appropriation. Can we have politics back, thank you, on behalf of my hallowed ancestors? Thanks. Where once upon a time there was a world called ancient Hellas, where there was no church, there were no Bulgarians or Turks, and Hellenic language was the language of the realm. Fucking great times. And that little city was called Byzantion. Yeah. And they didn't sort of have a good wank over a deity who is absolutely obsessed with the male foreskin. Fucking don't understand. I'll even say it in French for you. Je ne comprends pas. Right? I do not understand. I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting unto the 3rd and 4th generations of them that hate me. Punishments of them that hate me. Can't you feel the fucking love? Right? Oh, and what always used to crack me up about that was the oh no, that was the Old Testament. And I quote, God is the same yesterday, today and forever. I'm sorry, you can't get around it by injecting some Neoplatonism into your New Testament and thinking, oh, it's all about love, it's all about Jesus. You've seen all that. You've heard these kind of people. They have a good fucking wank over Jesus. At least my dying and resurrecting God-man actually had balls. Okay? Fuck's sake. They didn't get butthurt over a tree having no fruit, so they destroyed it. And neither do they have a weird sort of homoerotic relationship with Didymos. Right? Yes, look at me using the actual word from my own language. Oh no! Some of us can read the New Testament in the original Hellenic without Strong's, Young's or Vine's Concordance. Oh dear, what shall we do? So, moral of the story here, before I continue in my Sunday morning rambling, is some of us took the time to actually read and study all this shit before we took the piss out of it. Why else would I read every single one of those silly Twilight books? Why else would I read every single one of those silly George R. R. Martin having a wank over Gandalf and J.R. Tolkien books? Meanwhile, hey, Georgie boy, you're not a boat captain. Take that fucking stupid hat off. Gandalf should have died. Should have stayed dead. Well, when you stop obsessing over Tolkien and actually get your head out of your backside and do your own fucking work, where the focus isn't all about getting the dragons to begin with, and then once you get the dragons, oh, hubby says this, oh, okay, I have to get rid of the dragons now. Fuck's sake. It's like that silly TV show, A Search for Witches, where it sort of seems to be okay-ish, but then the whole series focuses around this sort of silly, to use your lovely British expressions, which I love so much. One of the perks of growing up in the 70s as a child in this country, being bombarded with all that wonderful British TV. You know, before the early 80s hit and before it was thoroughly Americanized, right? Where people were watching Alf instead of the two Ronnies, right? And there's this typical sort of dry toast, boring, blonde, boobless American slag called Dr. Blah Blah Blah, right? And she's actually a witch, and the whole point of the whole series is about her getting her hands back on the book that all the other factions want. So yeah, there's a whole lot of stupid folks, and speaking of a whole lot of stupid, Americans. Of course, Americans. The bulk of stupid is solely at your feet. Right? Thanks, fuckers. Thanks, you wee gobshites. Oh, the Irish have the right idea. You can use gobshite for absolutely anything in the positive or malevolent context. It's fucking fantastic. It's like Guinness. It's a beer and a breakfast. You people are fucking legends. But I digress. And I came across, it's weird, the videos you come across on YouTube, right? And one of them was about the George Floyd 1 year anniversary memorial. Yeah, you know, the criminal that they all deify over there now? Yeah. The guy who almost, or did he shoot at a pregnant woman? Something like that. Over a drug-related something. The one that you sort of put reverent murals with angel wings on, right? The one that the police actually had previous issues with, criminal issues with, right? But I digress. And there was a video which showed this reporter who, you could see the moment he was confronted with the depth of his propaganda, illusion, brainwashing. It's fantastic stuff. And when it first showed him that he was at the George Floyd Memorial Square, where yeah, I'm going to say names and everything. I don't even care because I'm screwed over by the YouTube algorithm anyway, so I don't give a fuck at this stage. And he could actually hear, there was actually a drive-by shooting while he was waxing lyrical about how wonderful George Floyd was. Why do you let these people have guns? You can't let stupid people have guns. Oh, don't get me started on Americans and guns. Oh, yes, it's in your constitution. Okay, I have some earth-shattering news for you, Americans. The redcoats are not coming back. The new church in my dad's village is older than your constitution, okay? like to use that line on Australians. I'm sorry, but the new church in my dad's village goes back further than when you puffy-looking gobshites first sailed here. You know, those puffy-looking fucking tights and wigs that you fucking idiots used to wear in the 18th century. But yeah, it was this reporter that I mentioned. He had a rather incredible light bulb moment where he realised the depth of falseness of this whole Black Lives Matter movement, and he realised what it was all about. Of course, some of us knew that all along, but I digress. And of course, that sort of got me thinking about all other vehicles and aspects of media which are used for nothing less than brainwashing the masses. Propaganda brainwashing the masses. Controlling what people think and feel. And doing so by controlling the flow of information that they have access to. And of course, when you need a certain, well, even government support and money funding what is basically a domestic terrorist organization. Yes, I'm talking about Antifa and Black Lives Matter here. I'm sorry, but unless you haven't been paying attention during the last few thousand years, no lives actually matter. If you need to go out of your way, if you need corporate, media, government support, and telling the whole fucking world, everyone, on every single fucking page that I used to love on Facebook, that Black Lives Matter, then no lives matter. Because if you need to actually sort of keep fucking reminding everybody and bashing everybody over the head, reminding them that your life matters, then your life does not matter, because the only person your life matters to is yourself. And all these once beloved Facebook pages I used to follow, and they all had to put the black square, didn't they? And unfollow. I can't tell you how many beloved pages I unfollowed last year from Facebook. It's incredible. I'm sorry, but you need to get off your own backside and do your own work to do what you need to do for your life. You can't blame what happened in the past. You are who you are right now. You had nothing to do with what they did back then. Even in, as I said, I make the distinction between being a Hellene and Greek. Because usually when you say Greek, it usually means like my big fat Greek wedding kind of families, right? This is why I make the distinction where that means if you're Greek, you're instantly Greek Orthodox and blah 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 blah, and you try to sort of, even though you haven't actually studied the history, you sort of like to spout all these things about what the ancestors did. You have no fucking idea, and you're not worthy to even mention them. What are you doing for human excellence? How are you contributing to the global, wonderful, collective cauldron of human culture? I can hear the crickets. And of course, a lot of these people have been thoroughly Ottomanized anyway. Hundreds of years of those fucking greasy gobshites and taking away education. And so what do they have left to cling to? Religion! So of course, if you're Greek, you have to be Greek Orthodox. Well, I'm neither Greek Orthodox nor Christian. Thank you very much. I'm a proud heathen and pagan. Thank you. No lives matter. If you need agencies, the above mentioned agencies, to keep bashing people over the head with the idea that your life matters, then your life doesn't matter. Getting off your fucking lazy backside and doing something for your own life matters. Stop hiding behind what happened to people who were born long before you were born. Matters. If like Australia is good for this, especially those whose skin are as pale as most Anglo-Australians, where they say how Aboriginal they are. Even the ones that are sort of half Aboriginal. And unless your family was directly affected by the stolen generation, then you need to shut the fuck up. You weren't around when the first fleet came. All right? It's got nothing to do with you. You are not your people. You are not your culture. You are who you are. In the current meatbag you are currently inhabiting, nothing more, nothing less. And the quicker we deal with that reality, the better off humanity will be. I have I haven't seen him for many years. He moved and we parted ways geographically. I had a wonderful friend I used to work with, Andy, his name was, and he was actually racially of African descent. British black people are the best. They really are. They're fucking awesome. I actually knew him well enough to ask him one day, so Andy, what do you think of black Americans? He rolled his eyes. And in his accent he goes, oh, don't get me started on those fucking tossers. They give the rest of us a bad name. Quote, unquote. He hated rap. He hated hip-hop and all that fucking glorified criminal bullshit that those people do. He hated it. He was a huge sci-fi Doctor Who fan. Loved Blake Seven. Loved Doctor Who. I mean, real Doctor Who. Before the BBC went all pansy, right? When the BBC used to have Ronnie Barker, okay? But, yeah, stop hiding behind falseness, behind illusion, behind brainwashing propaganda. Find the truth within yourself. It's the only place you can find it. Disconnect from the great propaganda machine and you're going to be better off. As far as my other channels, at this point I'm thinking, well, you know what? Part of me is thinking I really don't give a fuck to put any effort into it at all. I might just focus on my writing, my guitar playing, my esoteric studies, mythological, literary studies, and enjoy my life and get the fuck out of this country and go somewhere like, go back to Europe. Somewhere rural, somewhere far away from cities, because I fucking hate cities with a passion, because they're filled with gobshites and normies who have no fucking idea about anything and feel like they're a different fucking species from a different fucking planet. And if you do feel like that, it's perfectly normal. It means you're disconnecting from the great matrix, from the great hologram machine, and enjoy the journey. Anyway, and as one of my favourite content creators would say, the critical drinker, you're a fucking legend. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Go away now. The Sarcastic Lone Wolf on guitar, out.